Hello, and welcome to Art Snacks. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the career of being an apothecary in colonial America. An apothecary was like the early version of the druggist or the drugstore proprietor. They provided medical treatment to people, they prescribed medicine, they performed surgery, they served as man midwives, and they trained apprentices to do the work that they did. So what we're going to do is, while we're talking a little bit, we're going to draw what it might look like to walk into the apothecary in colonial America. Okay, and you'd probably have this front counter here, made of wood. And we'll make it paneled. So paneled would mean that it has little panels in it, like this. Raised panels. It makes it look kind of fancy. Maybe this was a very upscale apothecary. Okay, so that I'm walking into. And on that countertop would be some of the tools of the trade, and one of those tools, and we're going to draw that kind of it's a mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle. It's a ceramic container. Okay, there's the pestle here. And what they would do is use this to crush ingredients, different natural ingredients or tree barks or whatever the ingredients might be that were going into the medicines of the time. And they would use all kinds of natural, that's what they had, remedies. So they may be some bark. Let's make some scrolled up pieces of bark in this container over here. Okay. Different clay vessels with liquids of different kinds. Okay. Basically, the apothecary was the doctor of their time. And they kept records and showed that they made house calls and to treat patients, and they prescribed medicines. And if you go to Colonial Williamsburg, there's still places you can go where you can walk in and kind of see what these shops look like and learn a lot about the history. And the stuff is fascinating. So in the background, let's make a few shelves. These are tall shelves. We'll make a couple of these. So this was kind of a challenging job because you had people's health and their lives in your hands. You were basically the doctor, helping people get well. You know, one of the things that you might have on your counter is a jar. Let's make a jar. In that jar, with a top on it, be some water. And guess what might be in there? Leeches. And they still use leeches today for some different kinds of remedies. They believed bloodletting was a thing that helped people back then. And now they use leeches, and the leech is sort of a parasite that sucks blood through your skin. But in some cases now doctors are using them to try to get blood into, let's say I cut off my finger and they put my finger back on, but my finger was sort of tied back together here, and I needed to get the blood to go from here back into this part that got put back on again. Well, how do I get the blood to go back in there? They put a leech on here, and the leech starts sucking the blood, and it pulls the blood back into this area again. They've been able to save people's limbs by using leeches. It's amazing, but very interesting. So anyway, that's the job of the apothecary, and I will see you next time.